Hey everybody, Dave from Wolfhard Hobbying here, and today we're going to take a look at how I do wolf claws. You can use this effect for power claws as well, but the effect I'm going for is kind of strictly based off of Space Wolf's fluff. They tend to center a lot of their weaponry around the ice of Fenris and things like that, so I kind of want to show that on the model. So to get our base coated started, we're going to come in with Gunmetal Blue from Vallejo. And we're going to mix 1 drop to 3 drops of Ruinfang Steel. This will brighten up the gunmetal blue a lot, so that it's not as dark, and give us a nice metallic blue look. As you can see, I had the wolf claws painted in a silver already, but I wanted to go a different route than just using a blue wash over top, as the blue wash can give you some random effects, which could work if that's what you want, but I like to keep kind of control of my colors, so that I don't like leaving a lot of stuff up to random chance when I'm going for a specific effect on models. So just giving it a quick base coat. I'm only going to do 1, as it already gives us a nice blue metallic shine to it. So you could have thinned down the gunmetal blue to almost a glaze standard and then put it over top the silver, but I wanted to show this way. So once that's dry, you can see here it's got a nice metallic dark blue look, kind of ice almost already, which is a good effect that to get started with. And we're going to come in with Vallejo's medium blue. And this is going to be our first part of the effect, and we're just going to dry brush this onto the claws. It's not going to be a huge change in color, as we just want a bit of that dark medium blue to show on the claws. So as you can kind of see here, you're already getting a bit of a transition, and I'm going about 3/4 of the way up on the claws to start our transition. So with dry brushing, work against the grain and just make sure you get that top claw there to really sell the effect later on. But you could skip the inside edges of the claws as well. I chose not to, just because it also again helps sell this effect of power or anything like that. I've seen a lot of people do lightning effects on the claws, which is also another cool way of doing it, but it's not really how I like to go about painting power claws or even wolf claws in this instance. So this is just going to be a quick dry brush, and you can use this effect for more than just the wolf claws. You could do it on the thunder hammers, frost sacks, frost swords, things like that. Just going for kind of an ice look to it. So with dry brushing, you want to make sure that just the tip of the brush is hitting the edges of the model, just to take off some of the pigment from the bristles and leave it just on those edges. You could paint this effect as well with a layering or wet blending effect, but dry brushing is the quicker way I find to get this effect. So with that done, we're going to come in now with a mixture of 1:1 Lothern Blue to our Vallejo Medium Blue. And it's probably a little bit more like a 2:1, as I'm not cleaning my brush in between these steps. So there is some color distortion or color transference, or whatever you want to call it, with the paint that's already on the brush. But if you're dry brushing properly, you shouldn't have too much on there anyway, so it's not going to make a huge difference. The Lothern Blue is just going to give us a bit more of a drastic change in the color. Again, you could wet blend this or even just layer it on, but when you're painting up about 30 or 40 of these guys in a row, you kind of just want a quick method. So everything I do painting wise is to find the the quickest method of getting an effect down. So as you can see, it's a bit more noticeable transition, and I'm only going about halfway up my original effect with just the straight medium blue, as again, you want a good subtle transition, and dry brushing gives great color transition without using an airbrush. You could have used an airbrush on this as well, but again, takes time. You can't have the arms attached to models, so I don't really like doing that. So next we're going to come in with just some straight Lothern blue. Again, I'm not cleaning or changing out my brush, so it's getting mixed in with the pigments that are already on the brush, but again, not a huge deal breaker when it comes to this effect. This kind of leaves it up to a random chance, but when it comes to showing power flowing through or over top of something, you're not going to have the same color effects all the time, so it's not that big of a deal for me. So just again, lightly going over the claws. You don't want to hit the model too hard, or else you could drop it and it breaks. But also, if you're pressing too hard, then you're not getting that pigment that's right at the end of the brush. You don't want to have a lot of paint loaded onto your brush when dry brushing, so you want to very just lightly hit it. If you're moving the model in your hand, then that means you're hitting it a little too hard. As you can see, I do every once in a while on the model, but there you go. You're starting to see the effect that the dry brush is taking on the model here, and you could bring this color up as bright as you want or as far as you want. I'm only going to take it another step or two, because if you bring too much color onto it, you can start losing it. So I'm coming in with just straight white here. Again, it is getting mixed in with the pigments that are on the brush, so it's kind of, I'd say, about a 1-to-1 mixture of Lothern blue and white, if you are switching out your brushes or cleaning your brushes after. So with white, you want to be very careful about how much goes onto the model, because as you can see here, I'm getting kind of a chalky look to this effect, but I'm probably just going to come in a little later and give it a quick blue glaze with Guilliman blue, just to kind of bring some of that chalkiness down. So again, with this, I'm just hitting about the tips, and this is what's going to give us kind of that ice look, is the bluish white at the end. So as you can see, we got a nice color transition on the claws there, and it's showing that most of the power is right on the tips of those claws. But that's it, guys. That's how I do my power claws or my wolf claws. You can do them with whatever color you want, but it's very quick, easy, gets a nice effect. If there's a different effect that you guys go for, please leave your suggestions in the comment section below. Again, in the video description below will be a link to my Patreon and Facebook's accounts. So if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and the like button. Share with your friends. Again, guys, thanks for watching the video, and have yourselves a great day.